Today's practice is moving through fear and letting go of fear. This is something that often hinders us in our everyday lives because we are maybe fearful of being judged, fearful of an experience maybe that we're not looking forward to because of past traumas, fear of failure even. Maybe we're trying to take a step towards something in our career or maybe in our personal lives. Maybe we want to move or go back to school or change something about our relationships. And there's this level of fear there. So fear is inevitable, right? Because of our experiences, we create these stories about why we can't do things or create anxieties around certain activities that may bring us joy in our life. So it can become very hindering. So today's practice is about tuning into our courage and our strength within us. It's about looking at smaller pieces of that bigger picture and making it maybe more digestible, breaking things down into smaller goals or baby steps, if you will. So as we move throughout the practice today, we'll begin with very gentle postures, feeling into different spaces within our bodies, within our vehicle, and really learning to listen to the messages that our body is sending us, and also to soothe those by identifying and just finding a self-awareness, noticing what comes up for you in these different areas of your body, and by doing so, seeing if we can shift or reframe the perspective in those spaces. So I'd like to begin today by just doing a simple scan within your body. So starting from the crown of your head down to your toes, just noticing any areas where something may be coming up. Notice where the breath is. If it's shallow, let it be shallow. If it's deep, let it be deep. Notice the rise and fall of the chest. Is there any tightness there? Maybe the belly is holding some tension. This often happens when we're anxious. Maybe our legs feel a little restless. Feel like we want to move. See if you can find some stillness here and just begin to turn into the subtleties of the energy in our body. And if you find these places of tension, just inviting them to release with the breath. Not working to shape or change our breath unless it feels good to you. It might feel good to invite the breath to deepen. To slow down. Letting go of whatever brought you here today, whatever is to come. And just allow yourself to create this sacred space around you, held by the earth beneath you. And we'll work a little bit with affirmations throughout the practice today. And as we move into our first posture, our affirmation here is, I release fear and I embrace courage as my constant companion. I release fear and I embrace courage as my constant companion. And we'll move into a banana asana. So from Shavasana, we'll walk our feet over to the right side of the mat, crossing the left ankle over the right, and then bringing the arms up overhead, elbows bent, so forming kind of a cactus shape here, and just coming towards the top right corner of the mat. So we're creating this C shape with our bodies. Opening here on the left side body, in the ribs, between the ribs. And just begin to breathe into this space. You can bend the arms as much as you need. Try to keep the shoulders and the backs of the hands in contact with the earth. Not stretching too far. We're just beginning to wake our bodies up here. And there's this idea, especially around yoga, that we have to go as far as we can into a pose. That we have to be at the fullest extent, and that is somehow the goal or the best version of a posture. And in Yin, we want to back out of that. We want to just allow ourselves to arrive in our practice each day as a new day, as a new opportunity to meet our bodies wherever they are. This is echoed in our everyday life off the yoga mat. As we move through each day, we don't know what the next day is going to bring. We may wake up with a sore back, or we slept wrong and our neck is kind of kinked, and maybe we don't move as easily through the day. We have to be a little more mindful of certain parts of our body. And even in our interactions, we don't know what energies we're going to come in contact, what experiences we're going to have. So taking this practice out into the world, out into our daily life, just finding a sense of surrender, just arriving with whatever is there, whatever happens, and taking a look at it with a gentle heart, with compassion. You can breathe into the space in the side body. See if you can feel into the spaces in between each rib, between the rib cage and the left hip, between the left shoulder and the left hip. And just invite those spaces to open and to release. And we'll gently uncross our legs, coming back through center. And maybe just pulling the knees in towards the chest here just for a moment. And rocking side to side. A little bit of a release, nice and gentle. And then releasing here. And now walking the ankles over to the left side of the mat, crossing the right ankle over the left. And reaching the arms towards the top left corner of the mat. Finding that same shape, the banana, the crescent, whatever you'd like to call it. Sometimes I like to call it crescent asana, especially if we're doing a mood-related practice, mood phase-related practice, but we can call it banana asana today. Once you find where you'd like to be here, where you can find some stillness, not at your edge, a little bit away from that. And we're not straining to reach, but we can find the openness of this posture on the right side body, and also some stillness. Breathing into all of those spaces between each rib, between the bottom of the rib cage and the right hip, and the hip, and the right shoulder. Just so you know, you all look like beautiful bananas. If there's an intention that you would like to set for today's practice, you can begin to think about seeding that intention here. As we're waking up our spines, as we're opening our side body, drawing energy in. What is it that you would like to dedicate your practice to today? Maybe finding a sense of courage, peace, fluidity. Allow your intention to just arise on its own. Maybe it'll come to you throughout your practice today, or maybe it's already there. And we'll gently unwind, uncrossing that right leg, coming back through center, releasing the arms down at your sides. And then we'll make our way to our bellies. So Gently rolling over bellies to our mats. And drawing the elbows underneath the shoulders, or find Sphinx pose. So legs come out long behind you, forearms pressed into the mat here, and drawing the shoulder blades together, opening the heart center to the front of your mat, forearms rooted into the earth. Give the hips a little wiggle here. Just release any tension here that you may be holding in your glutes or in your legs, and then find a place of stillness. Gaze comes down between the hands, and the crown of your head gently reaching towards the front of the room. And you can close the eyes here if you'd like, or soften the gaze. And as you breathe here, with your bellies to the mat, see if you can tune into the breath and movement at your solar plexus, just below the rib cage, the point at which your belly is really rooting into the earth, really connecting here. This is our seat of empowerment, of courage, strength, but it's also the place where we hold a lot of our anxiety. This is our place of our sympathetic nervous system. So when we're fearful, when we see something that, think of a bear coming at you, you know, you see a bear coming towards you, you're like, oh, right in your gut, right? But sometimes our nervous system doesn't know that a bear is not coming towards us. And maybe we get that same signal within our body that we get when there's danger, when maybe we're just going to the grocery store. Or maybe we have to make a really important decision that we think is going to affect our lives in a big way. We're fearful of what that might look like, fearful of the unknown. That also resides there. So we try to find this place of balance here, this tipping point, right? This place within our internal sun, our powerhouse, where we can make a decision to move into shutdown, into fear. Or we can make a decision to move forward, to step into our heart center, so with our hearts open here. Think of a place, a time, a memory where you felt really empowered, really strong in your inner knowing of moving through something. And see if you can find that as it resonates here with your solar plexus against the earth. Find that sense of courage. What did it feel like to make that step? To feel powerful within you. And we'll drop down on the exhale, lowering our bodies all the way to the earth. Let your forehead rest on your forearms here. And just take a couple of breaths here, knowing that you are fully supported, fully held in your journey by the earth beneath you. Feel that connection now, your heart with the earth. We'll draw the hands under the shoulders and pressing away from the earth, sending the hips back. We'll move into child's pose. You may want to bring a blanket to the mat. This can help support our knees. We want to be kind to our joints. Bringing the knees width of the mat here, sending the hips back. Walk the hands out, and you can bring your forehead to a block, or you can come to a bolster if you'd like, or bring your forehead all the way to the earth. We want our hips to sink down, even just with our intention. Let your forehead come to the earth, your mind to empty here, to bow to the earth's wisdom, or to a block. And on each exhale here, really think about your root connecting to the earth below. Really sinking in, entangling with the roots of the earth. Connecting deeper and deeper. Your affirmation here is, with each breath, I inhale strength and I exhale fear. With each breath, I inhale strength and I exhale fear. And here in this posture, with our roots reaching into the earth, think about the landscape here of safety, nourishment, and security, and what that looks like for you. Memory, a feeling, a word. A time when you felt very safe and nourished, solid. You're standing on solid ground. This is also our place where we can feel like we are shaky, where we can shut down, right? We have this decision to make, this step to take. We don't feel empowered and we don't feel safe, we can begin to shut down. So when we're in that space, seeing if we can cultivate that feeling of being supported and nourished, and know that it's okay sometimes to shut down, but we don't want to get stuck there. So what can you do to regulate that? What can you do to find safety and nourishment here so that we can come back into that place of our solar plexus, so that we can come back into that place of, I'm empowered to make a choice here from where I need to be. On the next breath in, gently walk the hands back, bringing the head up last. And just take a moment here, pausing at the top, rolling the shoulders down, away from the ears, closing the eyes. Just take a breath here to recalibrate. We'll come into tabletop as we move into cat-cows. So waking up the spine a little more, creating some connection with our breath in our bodies. So from tabletop here, knees stacked underneath the hips, wrists stacked under the shoulders, and our palms pressing into the earth, fingertips spread nice and wide, and really gripping the mat here. Think about gripping the mat with your fingertips and pressing the palms into the earth, giving a little support to our wrists here. Finding a nice neutral spine. On the inhale, gaze comes up and belly drops, tailbone rises. And then on the exhale, rounding the spine, coming into cat, gaze comes towards the navel here. Really pressing away from the earth. Inhale, gaze comes back up, tailbone rises, belly drops. And just work with your own breath here, moving through these cat-cows, moving through the breath in the body. Become familiar with the movement of the breath from the crown of the head to the base of the spine. And as we cultivate a little fluidity here, thinking about how energy moves through us with fear. From the space at your root, to your solar plexus, to your heart. Not getting stuck in any of these places. If we're always in this place of our heart, where we feel joy and connection, where we feel regulated, safe, secure, empowered, there's no challenge here. There's no variation. There's no experience. And it's unrealistic to think that we can always feel regulated throughout our day. Building resilience is building an ability to move through the energies in our bodies fluidly. Not to reside in one space too long, but to allow the energy to continuously flow effortlessly. Coming back to a neutral position here, with our crowns reaching towards the front of the room. Pressing away from the earth, nice and strong here. We are stepping or walking that right foot forward to find dragon on the right side. So the right foot comes to the outside of the hands. We'll stay here in this little flying dragon. Just beginning to take that first step forward towards this goal, towards this chapter, this whatever it is that's coming up for you right now. Whatever you're fearful of doing. Taking that step forward. Our knee can be over our ankle here. We can gently, as we feel called to, sink the hips down, deepen that lunge, making any adjustments that you need to for your body. We're tuning into our body's wisdom, to all those messages that we're receiving. Oof, this is too much, this is too deep, this is too tight, or maybe just a, that feels really good. Wherever you are today is okay. Wherever you want to be, wherever you need to be today. You can also come to blocks if you'd like to. It's going to be a little more gentle on our wrists. Placing blocks either on the inside or inside and outside of that right foot, walking the right foot in a little more. here. We're doing hard things. We're powerful. We're strong. Taking a step in the direction of courage. Three more breaths here. You can do hard things. And on the next exhale, gently sending the hips back, keeping those right toes pointed towards the front of the mat. Just a little counter stretch here. Releasing the back of the leg, the hip. And then releasing any props and stepping or walking that right foot back so that we come back to tabletop here. And then once we've found our neutral position in tabletop, find your strength again, really pressing into the earth. Our wrists stacked under our shoulders, knees under the hips. Find your alignment. Stepping or walking that left foot forward to meet the hands this time. Again, using blocks if that's helpful to you for your wrists. Finding our alignment in our postures, really important. Our bodies are not all the same. We all have different bodies, different capacities for movement, and even our own bodies change every day. And our right side of our body is often different than the left side of the body. So finding the alignment that's right for you, finding where you need to be today is really important. And surrendering to that. Knowing that you may be further into a pose on one side than the other. And letting go of any judgment. Letting go of any idea that you have to look a certain way or be a certain way in any of the postures. Just allowing yourself to be where you are. To surrender to what is. If you'd like to sink the hips down and let the knee come gently forward, trying to keep it in line with that little toe, but always making adjustments for your body. And everything I say is a suggestion. So tuning into what your body is telling you. If it says, nope, go back. Don't be afraid to go back. Sometimes we need to go backwards. Sometimes we need to take a step back. And that's okay. It helps us find our strength. It helps us see where maybe we want to be. Look at the bigger picture. This is an entire practice of getting to know your body today. Not just one pose. Three more breaths here. Exhaling, sending the hips back. Left toes pointed towards the front of the mat. And gently releasing any props, stepping or walking that left foot back. And we'll come to our backs on the mat here. So laying down with your head facing me. Maybe doing a few little wrist circles here. We just did a lot of wrist stuff. So give them a little shake. And gentle movement, nice and slow. And bringing the knees bent, feet hip distance apart. Gently windshield wiper the knees back and forth. To the right, knees together, feet flat on the earth, nice and slow. Inhaling as you come to one side, exhaling back through center. Inhaling to the other side, back through center. As we pause in neutral position, knees bent, feet pressed into the earth here, hip distance apart. Bring the right ankle to the left knee, resting the right ankle just behind the left knee on the thigh. You can also cross your leg over if that feels better to you. Don't doubt what you're called to do. This can be quite the opening on the right hip, so if that feels too intense to you, feel free to lessen that by just crossing the leg over. And take this figure four stretch. If you'd like to stay here, you can. If it feels good to you, you'd like to deepen the stretch here, we can lift that left foot off the floor, reaching through that space and grabbing behind that left thigh, interlacing the fingers here. And if you need to look at me really quick to see what I'm doing, feel free to do so. Perfect. And again, if you got here and think, no, 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 my hip is too tight for that, that's okay too. You can drop your foot down to a block or down to the floor. Three more breaths here. And exhale, dropping that left foot down to the mat, gently unwinding. Maybe taking a long stretch here, a big stretch. Toes reaching to the wall behind you, fingertips reaching to the top of your mat and beyond. Big stretch. And then coming back to neutral, knees bent, feet hip distance apart here, and this time crossing the left ankle over the right knee. And see if you can notice any difference here between the right and the left side. Without judgment, just, that's a little different. Notice what it feels like to not judge ourselves, to just be curious. We can take that out into the world with us. We come across situations that are a little different to us, a little sticky or uncomfortable maybe. And we can think, isn't that interesting? What's coming up for me here? Just noticing, but not attaching to the stories, letting them go. And if you'd like to lift that right foot and reach through, interlacing behind the right thigh, you can do so. Three more breaths. And exhaling, dropping the right foot to the floor, gently unwinding. Maybe taking another stretch or drawing the knees in towards the chest. Maybe both, whatever feels good to you. And then bringing the soles of the feet together and letting the knees fall open here. For Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclined butterfly. And you can place blocks underneath your thighs here for a little extra support. And placing the hands resting on the rib cage here, fingertips at that place just below the ribs, your diaphragm, your solar plexus. Maybe just giving a gentle tap to the space, the top of your belly. And coming back to that intention here of finding strength and courage in whatever it is, wherever it is. what's living here? What stories am I telling myself where I'm disempowering, where I'm giving my power away to people, to situations, to experiences? Once you've identified this space, stickiness that's here, I'd like you to take your left fingertips and act as if you're pulling that energy from your solar plexus, this, whatever it is, this string, this tie, this story, where you're giving your power away, where you're fearful, where it's maybe not needed. We're not running from a bear. Maybe we're just visiting our in-laws. We're pulling this away. And then with your right fingers, with your index finger and your middle finger, creating little scissors here, and we're going to cut that tie away energetically. Snip it away. Let it go. Give it away to the earth. Take a deep breath in through the nose, inviting in strength and resilience, and exhaling, letting go of fear. And breathing here in this space of strength. Feel the warmth, cooling here in your belly, softening with each breath. And you can stay here or extend your legs out long for your final Shavasana. Taking up some space on your mat. Grab your blankets, your bolsters to go under your knees, get cozy here. Be here for a few minutes, coming back to this gentle visualization, allowing ourselves time within our sacred container to integrate the work that we've done today. Letting go of any shape of our breath, letting it be shallow or deep, quick or slow. We are where we began our practice, supported by the earth beneath us and held by the space around us. And it may feel good to you to scan your body once more. From the crown of your head all the way to your toes. As you follow the breath through your body, not working to change it, just allowing it to soften all of these areas. Noticing any changes within and without. Allowing the shoulders to rest here, and the belly to soften, the hips to be heavy. Filling the container of your sacred space. Know that this container is always with you. The energetic field around you, fortified by your inner strength. Always held in protection and light, and divinely guided. I'd like to come back to the visualization of your root, a space of connection to the earth, this place where we receive sometimes, where we drop down, we're feeling fearful, and we don't sometimes have the courage to do or say what we want to do or say. Notice again this landscape of feeling safe and nourished. And once we feel nourished here, once we've rested and gathered our strength, rising up into that place, your internal sun, your solar plexus, in a space below the rib cage, top of the belly, just above the navel, a space where we get that first signal, that first message. Maybe something happens in our environment, or we encounter someone or something, we feel activated. Come to this space of feeling courageous, back to that memory of feeling strong and empowered. And then floating back down to the root, to maybe a place where you feel shut down. And then back to empowerment. Play around with this door, this gateway, and know that you are always in control. That you can always come to these places of nourishment and empowerment. Find yourself floating between these two spaces. And when you come back to that place of courage, coming now into the heart, joy, connection, love, gratitude. This place of regulation where we it's a certain activity or a memory where you feel joy and connection to earth, to people, to your experience. And floating down into that solar plexus, into that place of activation maybe. And then back up to joy, gratitude to the heart. Floating between these two spaces, knowing that we may encounter experiences that activate something within us. And then maybe even dropping down into the root, down into that space of shutting down, and floating back through to the place of courage, into the place of connection. See how easy it is to flow through each state, finding it effortless to move through all of these experiences now. Take a couple of deep breaths back into the heart space, and gently begin to awaken the body. Carrying the nourishment, courage, strength, and joy with you. And when you're ready, coming to a seated position facing me. And let's find a nice tall spine, our crowns reaching towards the universe, the sky. And on an inhale, circle sweeping the arms up overhead, palms together. Exhaling, bring the hands to heart center. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice of Yin Yoga, this practice of letting go of fear, finding our courage, our strength, and our resilience. Finding the ease in which we can experience everything that we come into contact with, on and off the mat. Knowing that we only know the present, not what's coming. And that we can find strength within us by connecting to these experiences. And knowing that we can move effortlessly into the place of joy and regulation. It is my greatest wish that you can carry the benefit of tonight's practice with you throughout your evening, your week, and beyond. Satnam, may you align with your favorite version of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.